Oh, you know what I really don't like about things anymore? The fact that sometimes I have to do my predictions before SmackDown, and sometimes SmackDown can be a crucial show into going into a pay-per-view when it comes to what to expect. So when Sasha Banks missed SmackDown, I started to have some ideas, but I didn't get to share them with you guys. And then that happened. Wow. How's everyone doing? It's your boy here, Apollo, from Down, Down, Up, Up. It's time for some Talk Apollo talk, results and review regarding the biggest party of the summer one more time, SummerSlam 2021. Wow, that was a show. Was it good? Was it bad? Was it entertaining? I'll answer the last one. Yes, it was extremely entertaining for me. I had a great time. For the good and the bad reasons, honestly, I had a blast. So let's try to regroup, refocus, and hopefully I don't lose my voice today or tomorrow, because we've still got a takeover to watch. So I guess I better trim it down and let's see what we can get into. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here are my thoughts and opinions on SummerSlam. So kickoff was normal, about expected. And of course, what did they do? They threw on some senseless nonsense, although at least it was a small feud that was being carried on lately. Usually the easy to throw on kickoff match. Although it was a shame because it was Big E and Baron Corbin, but I guess we couldn't throw any stipulation on it, such as the briefcase is on the line, or if Baron Corbin wins, he gets a shot at the briefcase. No, we just had Big E come out. We had Corbin come out holding the briefcase, or I guess the new gimmick is bum-ass Baron Corbin, which is great. He's playing the character so well at this point. It's just, I don't know if I can trust WWE to give me a good result with this character. Because the match was fine. Corbin desperately was trying to keep the briefcase in his possession until Big E had just had enough and speared him on the outside. Big ending, 1, 2, 3. Big E gets a win. Shame, though, that considering some of the matches on the main card, Big E couldn't make it. That's actually a bit of a point I'd like to make about both shows. There's a lot of good people that should be on. Let's be honest, SummerSlam, there's no Big E on the main, Corbin on the main, there's no Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, although he might be taking some time off now for reasons unbeknownst to me, and a lot of other people that deserve the shots compared to some of the crap we got, but hey, we'll live through it. I love to rant more on TakeOver when it comes to people who should be on the show, but we'll save that probably for tomorrow. But Big E wins, got his briefcase back. Seems like Corbin didn't want to go chase after it in any shape or form. And from what I've heard, apparently Logan Paul dissed him after the show. And I really don't know what we're doing with him, but I guess we all get to find out after Raw. But now the main card. What did we kick off with? We kicked off with the 10 out of 10 right choice. It was RK Bro taking on AJ Styles and Omos for the Tag Team Championships. First off, I love Riddle's outfit for the evening. The snakeskin was a nice touch. Nice to see they were both into it. If there was just one thing that had me worried throughout was possibly a turn from either. Didn't have to worry, because after just a little bit of time, really, it was a lot shorter than I was expecting. RKO from Orton to Styles. 1, 2, 3. Randy Orton and Riddle are the new tag team champions on Raw. Oh, it's such a good feeling. They did it. They got back together just in time, and they won the tag team titles. Again, shorter than expected. I'm not sure where we go from here regarding Omos. He did not turn on AJ after the match, so maybe they get a rematch, and then maybe Omos turns on him, because at this point, a Riddle or Orton turn on the other doesn't seem likely with them having the belts. So this is the gushy, I love this story moment with these guys. Great payoff, great choice to start the show with. Loved it. Continuing on, I guess the dumbest thing of the whole evening that at least we knew about, Alexa Bliss, Eva Marie. If you recall, I actually picked Eva Marie for my predictions because I just thought that they'd do something, but no, it was a very boring match. The doll got used as a weapon and didn't cause a DQ. Dewdrop was sort of distracting Eva from the outside. And then Bliss just hit her DDT and won. And there wasn't really anything supernatural about this whatsoever. It was a big waste of time. The amusing thing is that Dewdrop made fun of Eva after, stole her little jacket, and did some funny faces and walked around after. Piper Niven's great. She can work with whatever you give her. So props to her and that little performance. It was funny. I laughed. I was entertained. The match tanked. Dewdrop tops. After that, I'm pretty sure we got into the United States Championship match. And yes, I have the order here because there's no way I'm going to remember this off the top of my head. Damian Priest, Sheamus. Again, I had a bit of uncertainty regarding this because I didn't think it was going to be this nice. But this was probably one of the better matches on the whole card in general. It started off slow, but then you gave them time. The strikes got a bit stiffer. Amazing brogue knee from Sheamus when Priest was jumping in midair from the ropes. I don't know how the heck that wasn't the finish. Priest able to kick out right before the 3 count, and then Sheamus continues to work on him, but Priest finally has enough. He grabs Sheamus's mask right off his face, beat the crap out of him some more, hit the reckoning. 1, 2, 3. Damian Priest won the United States title. Another match where thankfully the finish did go as expected. I didn't have enough faith in my predictions, but I'm glad to see it pay off here. Damian Priest is the new United States champion. Sheamus did what he could for the belt, and it wasn't really about defending it and whatnot. It was sort of just being a champion that really wanted nothing to do with defending. I guess you could say Brock, but like Sheamus was around doing his thing. It was different enough, but now that Damian Priest has it, I hope he gets time with it, and we really start to make a big deal out of this guy who not that long ago was paired with one of the biggest music stars in the entire world, Bad Bunny. We'll see what we get. But props on Damian Priest, new United States champion. At least we know that's one thing most of the NXT call-ups can do when they come is win the United States title. So, moving on from that, pretty sure we kicked it over to SmackDown, right? Usos, Mysterios, SmackDown Tag Team Championships on the line. This was, I guess, the easiest match of the whole night to predict, but it was a lovely match. These guys crushed it once again. This is probably another one where I expected it to go longer, and I sort of expected new stuff from these guys, but no. Rey Mysterio able to survive another Uso splash, and then the Mysterios just got a little bit of a chance, but Rey's frog splash did not work. He got kicked like all heck. Another splash to the back. Dominic taken out. 1, 2, 3. Jey Uso makes the pinfall to retain the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Again, easiest match on the card. There's no way the Usos are losing it now. And fun match. Fun match, if I'm being honest. Just got to adjust the mask. All right, match 5. I'm pretty sure this is where we got into the nonsense. Okay, so SmackDown Women's Championship match. Ha ha ha! This is a big divider right now, in my opinion. So let's try to keep things simple enough. So first, let's get into what actually happened. Out comes Bianca Belair, and that's where my heart rate starts to go up. Champ's coming out first. I have some new expectations for this because of what I said earlier. SmackDown had no Sasha Banks. I started to think about what's going to happen and the teases that she wasn't going to be there. Frankly, I actually still don't know why. Is it COVID? Is there some other altercation? Hopefully she's okay with whatever's going on. I'm not taking shots in any regard there to the person. Hopefully she's doing fine, but obviously couldn't make it here. But then we get the announcement. Sasha Banks will not be able to compete. So her replacement, Bianca Belair's replacement, my head. Sasha Banks' replacement to take on Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's Championship, Carmella. Now, this is where they lost the crowd, and they had me lost for a bit, like, oh, what is this doing here? So out comes Carmella, but still, something's up. The entrance is taking decades. The ring bell to start the match is taking decades. When out comes Becky Lynch. This felt so right, and honestly, she should have been back earlier. So I was ready for it. I was praying like, it's got to be Becky. If Sasha's not here, it's got to be Becky. And out she came, and the crowd was so happy to see her. I was happy to see her. It's been over a year since we've seen, again, the lady who's basically felt like the bigger sister to like all of the fans for like the past 4 or 5 years now. So she came out, she took her time, she knocked Carmella out, and after a long stare down, finally seemed like we were going to do Becky Bianca for the championship. And we did. The bell rang. Bianca went to shake Becky's hand, sort of like a dunce when Becky offered. Slap to the face. Beck bottom. 1, 2, 3. Becky Lynch won the SmackDown Women's Championship. Ah, the good and the bad of it all. Frankly, I'm happier the other side. I wanted Becky to win the title when she came back, but I didn't expect it to be the SmackDown Women's Championship. And she has done it. She's back on top. But wow, what did we do that to Bianca Belair for? After building one of the biggest new female stars on SmackDown, this is what happens to her. That was shameful. So here's the thing. If this had been a Raw storyline, I would have had a lot more hate and hit on this. But I love Becky to death still. She's just great. Bianca can rebound from this. This, though, needs to be taken as a lesson for her. Do not trust anything on the main roster. And 3, it's SmackDown. I actually have enough faith in the SmackDown bookings and writers to make this well on the other side. So we'll see where this goes. Bianca Belair could get it back. She could turn heel. Personally, I'd like Bianca to stay the big face female star and Becky to turn heel. So we'll think about it. Because of course she's on SmackDown now. Seth Rollins is on SmackDown. They're both in the same show together. Why can't they both be heel and we see where it goes? I'd love to see this culminate maybe with Becky and Seth versus Edge and Bianca. Wouldn't mind those feuds connected because let's be honest, neither of them is over yet. See where this goes. I'm more happy about this now than I was starting to turn on it late last night, but I just enjoyed it. I'm sorry if you guys didn't. We all have our opinions. I just have faith that we're going to come out of this the other side better for both of these ladies. This hits a snag, but bottom line, Becky Lynch, new SmackDown Women's Champion. Happy to see her back. So now let's try to pick up the pieces and keep going. What was next? Next was another waste of time, but I saw it coming. Drew McIntyre, Jinder Mahal. No Veer and Shanky at ringside. Drew's allowed to bring his sword, Angela. And, it was about 4 or 5 minutes before Drew hit a bunch of suplexes and then hit the Claymore, and then just won. Like I expected, because I don't think this feud's over. I do think we're getting a Punjabi prison match between these two. I don't know what to expect afterward, but this was more just filler that I didn't need at the pay-per-view, but I saw it coming, so it made it feel a little bit better. Now let's keep going. Raw Women's Championship next. Nikki, Charlotte, Rhea. It was a good match. Had a lovely time watching. Then Charlotte Flair got the figure 8 on Nikki, and Nikki tapped. I should have expected as much, but my heart screamed for Nikki. I went with Nikki, but Charlotte Flair regains the Raw Women's Championship again. Her SummerSlam streak continues, and a friend of mine pointed out, apparently Charlotte came out with Thanos-related gear and fighting almost a superhero. Actually kind of funny when you think about it if you know the references. So Charlotte Flair gets a championship back. I'm not surprised if this was a quick-minute decision because of CM Punk coming to AEW, because SummerSlam had to spruce things up. Hence the Becky stuff too. But we're not even done with the surprise stuff. We got to keep going through the show. Bottom line, Charlotte Flair, new Raw Women's Champion. So at this point, it was time for our big matches back to back to back. Didn't think they were going to be done like that, but best match of the show. So let's get into our lovely mode. Edge, Rollins. Now, from what I heard, the arena was just a mess. Apparently, you could not pay cash, and the systems were down for credit, debit, Visa, etc. For concessions. Wi-Fi was crap, no pyro whatsoever. So after Seth Rollins came out, I was curious what Edge's deal was, but he came out with his Brood music. He came out with the fire, and then his regular music hit. He did his pose with some smoke. It was fun. I love that the Brood stuff is back all of a sudden. It looks amazing, him doing that stuff again. But when we get to the match, what a time. What a lovely time. Seth Rollins really teasing like we're going to get that stomp, and it was starting to worry me, but these guys crushed it. Absolutely crushed it. I don't need to go through this spot for spot. This is the one match, if you have time for, out of the whole show, you should watch. They made it worth the while waiting 7 years for something like this to pay off. But after a couple of spears and Rollins surviving, I was starting to get worried, but Edge wouldn't take the stomp. He even teased like every single move he had, including the Educator. I love that he used that submission again, but finally got Rollins in a crossface. Okay, Rollins is getting out, but no, Edge just grabs his head, slams it into the ground at least 6 or 7 times, locks it back in, and Rollins taps out. Edge gets his must-win of the year. And it was a lovely moment. The people wanted it. I wanted it. And this is probably not done. I can see them doing another one in Extreme Rules. But right now, Edge is on the all-time high, and I'm happy to see him win one. Felt great. Now let's get on to the world title matches. Oh, didn't you know they're just gonna be WWE. So, Goldberg Lashley. Lashley could not lose in my head, and he didn't. But this wasn't what I expected. First off, Goldberg coming out without his pyro was absolutely ridiculous. And then the match was probably one of the longest Goldberg has had since he's come back in 2016. I guess Undertaker's would have been longer than this one. Yeah, this is probably his second longest match, if you don't count any rumbles or etc. So after a bit, it seemed like we were working on the leg because MVP hit Goldberg with a cane and Goldberg reacted to it about a year later. And then Lashley was working on the leg, and then Goldberg did get a spear to him on the outside, but he couldn't really capitalize, and then Lashley kept beating it up, and then the referee waved it off. Yeah, the referee waved off a Goldberg-Lashley match for the WWE Championship because Goldberg could not compete with the bum leg. And this was storyline. This was no legitimate injury. Because afterward, Lashley destroyed it with a steel chair. Goldberg's son came in to try to help, and Lashley put him in the Hurt Lock. And then Goldberg basically threatened Lashley at the end as Lashley was leaving with MVP. So what does this tell me? It tells me that, unfortunately, the money from Saudi Arabia is looking good because they are going back there for Crown Jewel in October, and it would not surprise me if we have a rematch with these two there. It would also not surprise me that Goldberg wins the championship there. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I got for that, and unfortunately, things will go even more downhill from here. So, yeah, tone's changed. It's a shame. I really want Lashley to hold on to the gold longer. So, hopefully we come out of that okay. But right now, at least Lashley is still the champion. And this was crap. And that's really all I have for it. It's amazing that they just couldn't book what should have been booked in the sense of Lashley Goldberging Goldberg. Hit Lashley's moves of doom in 30 seconds and crush him. But no, we didn't do that. The good thing is, Lashley's still the champion, and the crowd was happy about that. Now, the match that I wasn't really looking forward to match-wise, and it turned out crowd-wise it sucked. Cena Reigns. Yeah, that was a match, wasn't it? We got some moves, and John Cena hitting the AA a few times, and then Roman kicking out of every single one. So let me recap. AA in the ring, Roman kicks out. AA through the announce table, back in the ring, Roman kicks out. AA from the top second rope, Roman kicks out. And then Roman finally gets in at least 7 or 6 Superman punches. One spear. And Roman Reigns beat John Cena. That's what I liked. Ha ha ha. He's gone rogue, and he's still the Universal Champion. Oh, it was hysterical. It was absolutely hysterical. And bottom line, I agree with the finish. That's the weird thing. I didn't like the match, but I loved the finish. And then Brock Lesnar came out. Oh my gosh, I'm mad I didn't see this coming once the Saudi Arabia show was announced. Of course Brock Lesnar came out. And it was hippie Brock. If you don't know what that means, look how he looked when he came out. You'll understand. Brock Lesnar came back to WWE after how long? Close enough to Becky Lynch leaving, except with Brock it was WrestleMania last year. Heyman looked like he was going to go hysterical, but Roman left with Heyman. Brock stayed in the ring. Show ended. Apparently after the show, Brock Lesnar destroyed John Cena. I saw some of the footage, including the F5. Brock Lesnar's back. Absolutely hysterical. I am happy that we're going to be seeing it with the roles reversed. My only gripe is if Heyman goes back with Lesnar and Lesnar's the one to beat Roman for the title, that's how we end Roman stuff with Brock. I guess if Roman gets it back, it'll look better. But, we'll see. We'll see how Brock is now without Heyman for a bit, if this is going to work out. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be enjoying this or not. But right now, I'm ecstatic enough. That was it. That was SummerSlam. Done talking. Woo! Another 20 minutes of just what the heck is WWE doing. But it was fun. It was fun for good and bad reasons. I enjoyed it as a fan. Again, my mindset is, if it's not AEW or NXT, I don't have to take it seriously as a fan. So, with WWE, I watch expecting stupid things. And this had a fair share of stupid things. So, I enjoyed it because that's what I wanted. There you go. I don't really have much more of an analysis to give. That's SummerSlam. So, if you enjoyed it, good for you. I enjoyed it too. If you didn't, good for you. I understand why. Thank you guys so much for watching. Great to have you here. Like, share, subscribe. If you're new, would love to have you. Stay tuned for tomorrow where we go through NXT with much higher spirits. Hopefully, I'll still have my voice. I'm actually surprised it held up for the majority of this video. And that'll do it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. SummerSlam's done. Hopefully we continue with brighter spirits. Keep it real.